So leave it to the Jaguars, where on a day where all there really is going on in football is an Army Navy game, to go out here and kind of make front page news amongst NFL circles on Twitter and all that stuff. Essentially, the Urban Meyer era, it looks like it's only a matter of days before it's over. Just with the recent news that came out from Tom Pelissero, with an article titled "Tension Boiling Over Between Coach Urban Meyer, Jaguars Players amid in the staff amid a 2-10 start." Now, before we get into this, man, if you guys are looking for a Christmas gift for your friends or family, go to Backroom Collection. Use my promo code UCFJ for 10% off a really cool canvas. Hit up Cameron on Instagram on the links down below if you want to get a custom kind of design made for you. So go check that out if you guys are looking for some Christmas stuff. So yeah, I don't really know what to say in this video outside of what I've already kind of said in my most recent couple videos. I made a video a little over a week ago kind of detailing how I think the Jaguars basically need to fire Urban Meyer. And I made another one about how the Jaguars are ruining Trevor Lawrence. And I mean, it's easy to go to the very top with Shad Khan, because obviously Shad Khan has been terrible. But he's the owner. You can't get a new owner, and obviously he has to hire better. But it really starts with Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer was the guy that was supposed to come into Jacksonville and just change the culture around here. Build this into a winning organization, and take us heights that we've never seen before. And it's been bad so far. It's been really bad. Really, like every step of the way. Every step of the way, from like the Chris Doyle hiring to even bringing in Tim Tebow. One of our coordinators left before the season even started because he couldn't really deal with Urban Meyer. And, that's a special teams coordinator. And just a whole lot of stuff has just been bad. This article, while nothing in there really surprises me, at the same time, it's pretty damning that it's out there. There were a few different bullets about in the past 2 weeks alone, sources say, and I'll and this article can be found on NFL Network or NFL.com. It's basically receiver Marvin Jones, one of the locker room's most respected and mild-mannered veterans, became so angry with Urban Meyer's public and private criticism of the receiver group that he left the facility until other staff members convinced him to come back, and had a heated argument with Urban Meyer during practice. So this kind of all goes back to just the media availability by Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer, it's so ironic because the guy preaches own it, own it, own it, but he doesn't own up to a single thing that he does. He's a guy that points blame at other people, and some of the times he just makes stuff up. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to a few weeks ago, when it comes to the James Robinson benching. He basically said to the media, look, it was a running backs coach that called for the benching, not him. And then this article says, contrary to his public statements that it was injury related, Meyer ordered Robinson's benching after an opening drive fumble in last week's 37-7 road loss to the Rams. Then had running backs coach Bernie Parmalee stop Robinson from re-entering the game, insisting Carlos Hyde stay in. Only after Lawrence questioned Meyer on the sideline about Robinson's absence was Robinson allowed to return late in the second quarter. And then Lawrence said, bottom line, James is one of our best players. He has to be on the field. So it's like, okay. So that was just a straight up lie. And not only was it a lie, you can go out here and, lie about different things, but you can't lie about like something like that where you're throwing another guy under the bus like that. Like you're throwing the running backs coach under the bus when he doesn't even get media availability. He can't defend himself. You know what I mean? It's you're trying to build this culture here, and at the end of the day, none of the players or the coaches take Urban Meyer seriously. You know what I mean? They don't respect him. They don't think that he holds any kind of legitimacy. You know what I mean? He can't be taken serious. and another thing on here, it says, during a staff meeting, Meyer delivered a biting message that he's a winner and his assistant coaches are losers, according to several people informed of the contents of the meeting, challenging each coach individually to explain when they've ever won and forcing them to defend their resumes. So, I mean, there's certain guys that can do this. Like, look, say Tomlin, for example. You know what I mean? I don't think that Tomlin is Mr. Player's coach. I think he's probably a tough guy, but he's kind of earned that right to be a tough guy. And I guarantee you, players and coaches respect him. Now, there's a certain give and take with the situation. Like Urban Meyer, before he becomes this hard ass and before he turns into a guy that the coaching staff and the players kind of fear, he has to be a guy that they respect first. And quite frankly, he has done nothing at the NFL level to earn respect. Everything that he's done is on the college football level. And college football is a different game than the NFL. A lot of players on the Jaguars feel like Urban Meyer treats them as kids. And that's because Urban Meyer has never coached adults. He's only coached college kids. So he can, bend them, mold them all he wants in the 3 years and they're out of there. And then all of a sudden they become NFL veterans who are in their 30s and that kind of stuff doesn't fly. And then we talk about how, we need to get rid of Darrell Bevel. We need to get rid of the wide receiver coach and bring in other guys. What well-respected and up-and-coming guy is going to want to play for Urban Meyer? We are not going to be getting any good offensive coordinator if he stays. Not only that, we're not going to be getting any good free agents unless you just give out contracts that they can't say no to. Nobody wants to come to this mess. You know what I mean? Nobody. I mean, even Robinson's agent has been clear on Twitter. They don't like the organization right now. You know what I mean? And I'm tired of being the team that, players that were shooing off our own players, we're scaring them away. They don't want to come back, and we can't retain the good guys. We can only retain like DeJuan Smoot and like Logan Cook. I want to be able to keep the Jalen Ramseys, the Unique Ngakwe's. You know what I mean? I don't want those guys going to other teams and having the success. But right now we're trending that way. You know what I mean? Under Urban Meyer, at this point, because I was on the Urban Meyer train for a little bit, and then I started getting more and more skeptical of him. But the time where I really broke was the first time they benched James Robinson against the Falcons. Because look, it's different. Look, he fumbled back-to-back games against the Rams. If you guys want to bench him for a quarter, fine. But that should not. But the way they handled it the first time, where you benched him right off the bat, that's different. If he comes back after that and he plays, he does good. In the second game, he fumbles in the second snap. The situation is a little bit different, but you're going to, make an example out of one of the most humble dudes on the team. An undrafted free agent. Nothing's ever been given to this guy, and that's the guy that you want to make an example of. It's just ridiculous. And at this point, it's like only the biggest Urban Meyer defenders can really defend Urban Meyer anymore. Because when I look at the situation, I would never call for a guy's firing his first season, but I just don't see the upside. And at this point, they need to do the same thing that they did with Tom Coughlin. They need to fire him to save face. I really, really do feel like there's a great chance Urban Meyer gets fired after the Titans game. I feel like that's probably going to happen. Unless Urban Meyer is the biggest narcissist and can really talk Shad Khan out of it. I don't know. It's just you never know what Shad Khan's going to do. But at the end of the day, the guy that needs to influence something is Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, speaking to Urban Meyer, got James Robinson back in the game. I don't think Urban Meyer will listen to anybody outside of James Robinson or outside of Trevor Lawrence. So that's going to be the difference. And I don't know. I know most NFL owners, Urban Meyer would be fired after Sunday. With Shad Khan, I don't know. You know what I mean? You have to put the expectations so low for him and just be surprised if he gets something right. You know what I mean? So it's hard. It's hard, and it's a sad situation that we're in. But I put this on Twitter today. You either want a coach to be really, really good or really, really bad. Because if they're really, really bad, you're going to realize after 1 year then you can cut bait without, dedicating years to them. You know what I mean? So, and if you're in between, it kind of leaves you with a guy like Gus Bradley, who surface level, first, second year probably didn't do a lot to deserve to be fired. But then, once third or fourth year came, you kind of realize what he was. And then, yeah. But something needs to be done because, look, like, if Urban Meyer stays coach, you're not going to be getting any of the best coaches out there, and you're not going to be getting the best free agents. You know what I mean? That's a fact of the matter. And a lot of times, a team is only as good as its coaching staff, and a team is only good with great players. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just pray something happens. If Urban gets fired tomorrow, we're live streaming after the game. I will be live streaming the game tomorrow, so look out for that. But we'll be doing a celebration stream tomorrow night. And, yeah, I hate that it's come to this. But, if Urban Meyer wants to treat players and staff like this, he has to earn that respect. Otherwise, if I get hired to be one of you guys' boss and I don't have any experience at that job, I can't go yelling at you guys and expecting you to do all this if I don't know how to do it myself. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Go Jags.